and calls. Okay.
Thank
Everybody
you.
else is co-host. Okay, very good. Shannon, you're a co-host, and Paul, you're co-host. Everybody. Okay, cool. And Marlon will make a co-host as well, just to make sure. Okay, so give me 1 second. We'll get started here. Excellent. Hit the record button. Welcome everybody. My name is Juan Vitas, and this is Winning on Wednesdays, real estate portion of our group. I would like to introduce our chairpersons, Shannon and Paul. So Shannon, you would like to lead off with your introduction and who you are in the group?
Yes, good afternoon, everybody. Good evening, actually. We are super proud to present Nicole Burke tonight. She's doing a presentation for us for our real estate group here. It meets every once a month on the first or second Wednesday of the month at 6:30. Tonight, we're going to learn about some really easy tips that we can do to sell our house and things that don't cost a lot of money. So we're super excited to have Nicole. The whole reason for this, real estate group is to have a whole array, like a plethora, so to speak, of different folks who would be supporting the real estate industry. So we got realtors, we have lenders, architects, engineers, home inspectors, everyone in the stage of the process that if a realtor needs somebody to support them throughout this process for any particular one of those roles, we have insurance people, anybody that would be needed by a realtor to support. So we've got a whole group here that can support a realtor or a lender out there.
And some housekeeping, please put your name and title of what you do on that. If you need some help, we have people that can help you here too. And Paul, would you introduce yourself? And
good evening, everybody. My name is Paul Poblette, and I'm also the co-chair of the WOW Real Estate Group. And I'm happy to have Nicole today. What a amazing guest today. She's actually a co-host on House's radio show. It's very intriguing, her perspective on real estate. She's been in the industry for many, many years, and she's going to drop some valuable golden information about how to get the most bang for your buck and really kind of fine tune those, like how to, I'm not going to give away the secrets, but how to really promote your home and really help out other investors, other real estate agents, and other homeowners, how to kind of navigate the home selling process. But I'm very happy to have Nicole today.
Okay. All right. Without further ado, Nicole, we'll take it away, and then we'll go into the other Q&As afterwards and introductions after the meeting. So we'll start.
All right. Perfect. Thank you, Shannon, Paul, Juan, Robin, for having me present this evening. I'm just going to share my screen and bring this up. Just before I do that, just a few housekeeping rules. This is a presentation, but in order for this to work well, I like to have a conversation with you guys. I'll pause at the end of every slide after my introduction, and I get started with the presentation for questions or any comments, so we can have some sort of communication. Is that fair?
Yep.
Perfect. Okay, let's get started.
And we should mute everybody. So let's mute everybody. Mike, hold on a second. I'm going to do mute all, and then I'm going to end the call. You just need to be unmuted, Nicole. So can you hear me, Nicole? Can you unmute your mic?
Yes.
There you go. Okay, good. So
Okay.
you're the only one should be talking now, and everybody else is muted.
Okay, perfect. All right. So my presentation is about what I do is when I do meet with homeowners, I give them a checklist. And in that checklist is 10 items, which will help increase the value of your home when you get ready to sell. Usually, sometimes people come to me a few months prior to selling their house, and I give them this checklist. It's, as Shannon had mentioned, it's quite simple and easy. Oh, I keep hearing that bell. So this is what we're going to go through. In the beginning, I'm going to discuss who I am. I'll give you those 10 items checklist to prepare your home to sell, and then it will end. But it's going to take some time because I like for us to have a conversation. And I know, I believe, Mike, we won't be able to hear you, so I'll give you some time to type in your question.
Oh,
all right.
I could have the participants unmute themselves, so I can have that right now, so I can have them unmute themselves. So you can accommodate that.
All right, thank you. So I've got my MBA in real estate from Hofstra University. I've been a New York State licensed real estate associate broker selling real estate in New York State for over 20 years. I help people sell and buy houses painlessly because this time people don't know what to expect. And when they don't know, it could be painful with the wrong agent. Another hat that I wear in the community, I'm an executive director of a Uniondale Community Land Trust. Does anybody know what a land trust is? All right, Paul's giving me the go ahead. Okay, a land trust, and a short version of it is, well, our land trust is made up of Uniondale community members and stakeholders in the community. And what we do is we purchase houses that are the zombie houses or land, put a structure on the land, renovate the house completely and sell it at an affordable price. Now, the trick with the land trust is we own the land, but the structure is owned by the new homeowner. So we lease back the land to the homeowner. And with doing that, we're able to keep the price at an affordable price when they go to sell it. That's a quick synopsis of it. I'm also a mom and a grandma. My daughter just gave birth on Super Bowl Sunday. That's her with my granddaughter. I'm a homeowner, thank you. And I have a radio show over at Hofstra. It's called The Voice of Uniondale, where I interview people who live, work, or grew up in Uniondale to show Uniondale in a positive light. Now, I'm just going to pause here and ask if you do have that poll to put up, is anybody here a homeowner, a renter, or do you live with someone?
Oh, you know what? I do apologize because we had some technical difficulty with Zoom, so we're gonna hold off on the pop-up quizzes until the end. So if you don't mind, just we had some technical difficulties before,
Okay,
so we can continue.
all right. So just that I know, instead of
Mhm.
that,
Yeah, yeah.
if you just put, is anybody a homeowner? How many people are homeowners? I can't really see everybody.
Yeah, you had about 6 or 8 people. I put them back to a lot of people in the room.
The majority of people are
Yes,
homeowners.
majority of people. Yep.
Okay, perfect. Thank you for that one. So this will be helpful for you, or if you know anybody who might be looking to sell this year, next year. The first item on the checklist is planting colorful flowers. This will make your home stand out. The first impression is a lasting impression. It doesn't cost much to get flowers or shrubbery that have color, that pop, to have your house stand out. And like I said, I was going to pause at the end of each slide. So just to give you the opportunity to just add any feedback if you've got any, or any questions. I don't see any. I'm just going to move on to the next.
Did you hire someone to do that landscaping?
Can if you want, but the whole point, well, for my checklist, the reason for this checklist is to do the minimal cost efficient techniques, things to do to bring back a higher return when you do go to sell it. So if you've got the money in the budget to hire somebody to do it, go ahead. But if you can just take a weekend or a day after work or a day off and put the flowers in, let them bloom, such as this photo here, it would help you at the end. All right. Number 2. Oopsie, sorry. Painting your front door. Through weather, snow, rain, can cause your door to weather. And like I said before, the first impression is a lasting impression. We do not want to give the opportunity for a buyer to come in and just think of any little thing to discount the price of your home. Isn't that what buyers do when they come and they look at the house? It might be fantastic, but any little thing that they can think of to do to reduce the price, they would. So if you've got a can of paint, go down to the hardware store, get a can of paint, take some time off or hire somebody, Justin, to paint your front door as opposed to replacing it.
I definitely agree with that because I've actually had a buddy that was trying to sell his house and he threw out the idea of painting his door bright orange. It would contrast with the house and it actually worked. And he also changed the lock sets. Amazing, amazing. People were just enamored by the contrast of the door and the lock set. Something so simple that it just piqued interest. So
The
yeah,
color,
I can
you
vouch
want to
for
make
that.
it pop. Yep,
I can vouch for that
that's
for
good.
sure.
Now you
Yeah.
skipped ahead with those doorknobs, but we'll
Yeah.
get there.
I've actually heard that the painting the door red for entrance symbolizes that the house has been paid for.
Oh, wow. I never heard that one. That's a good one.
Yeah, I can't
Wow.
wait to paint my door red.
Me too. Me too. Maybe we can have a finance person in here telling
I
us how
thought-
we can pay off our mortgage sooner.
I thought a red door just meant it was a Lutheran church.
Is that a good thing?
Yeah, I guess based on the area, yeah, it could be. I think also I've seen a red door in certain where we at in New York, we have we have an area called Flushing, which is a very predominantly Asian community, and they do red, especially because it means good luck. So yes, it depends on the area and where you were focusing at. But yeah, definitely painting the door will make it pop. Thank you, Nicole.
You're welcome. 3 and 4 are basically almost the same. Cleaning your windows and sill. I've got to ask, what would be important about this? Why would it be important to just take some time out with water and soap and clean your windows?
It's the light. It's the light that comes through that makes the house seem bigger.
Exactly. And the sunlight is always best to have to showcase your home. So just these are the simple things we don't think about, but your windows, due to after the winter that we go through or whenever, if you don't clean your windows, you obstruct that light from coming in. Number 4 deals with removing the dust in the visible areas. You know, these two go hand in hand. That's what you would want to do. These are just simple things to do. You clean in your house, just go through, take a couple of days on the weekend and go through and see what's dusty, what windows need to be cleaned. And these things help with increasing the sale, well, increasing the price of your home when you go to sell it. 5, you ever been to someone's house and all their closets are cluttered? We don't tend to, well, when I do sit down with homeowners, they don't seem to think that their closet doors are going to be open. One of the things that I do when I'm showing houses to my buyer clients, I open up the closet doors because you want to see how much space you have. You know, here in New York, the houses, it's prime real estate to find a house with huge closet space. And you want to be able to see what's in that closet and how you can picture you putting your clothes in there, items that you have that you use frequently. Does that make sense? Yes. Perfect. As Juan had mentioned, Shannon, you told them, but that's okay. Fixing and tightening any loose door handles or door knobs for drawers, cabinets. Imagine someone, a customer themselves, opening up the door and the doorknob is loose. Anything that buyer could use to discount your house, I really want to stress this. They would use it to get a discount. Your house can be immaculate, but if there's a doorknob that's loose or a drawer is loose, they won't forget that. They'll use that as reducing the price of your home. Before you put your house on the market, this is important here on Long Island, going down to the town and seeing if there's any open permits. Does anybody know why this is important? Yes, Shannon. And I'm
because
sorry, I don't see anybody else. I only see Shannon, Paul, and Jesse. So if anybody else has their hands up, I
Robin,
apologize. Oh,
Yeah, we'll
Robin,
help
just
out. Yeah,
unmute
we'll
yourself
help
and
out.
just
Yeah,
talk.
yeah,
I
yeah.
hope I don't steal your thunder, Robin. I would say from a lender standpoint, if you're getting a mortgage on the house, you have to make sure that the lender is going to be willing to waive any open permits, which a lot of times they won't, especially if there's safety issues, like if there's no hand railings on the second floor balcony, or no fence around the pool. That's a big no-no because somebody could fall. And so if it's a little thing like a fence permit or a shed or something, it might not be such a big issue, but this could hold up your closing and take a lot longer to file with the town.
Exactly. Robin, was that what you were going to say?
Well, and because I fell into this kind of thing when I bought my house, and there were things that we thought were permanent. They thought that the sellers thought were permitted, and as it turned out, when we did the survey, maybe their contractor told them that it was, and it had never been done. So either we had to do that or knock it down, and it needed to be knocked down. So, we chose to do that. But when you have it experienced, that could have stopped, that could have, put a damper on the sale.
Well, can I ask you something, Nicole, on that
Yes,
note?
Lisa. Yes.
Okay, so you're buying a house, like Robin's buying her house. Well, how is there a way to find out if there are any open permits? Like, you do a title search, but can you search for open permits for you?
Well, you would do the title search beforehand if you're interested in that house.
But what about the open permits that Robin wasn't aware of?
The seller, usually sometimes the sellers aren't aware of it. They purchased the house that way, or they've lived in that house for over 50 years, or they're the original owners, and they didn't realize that, as Robin had mentioned, their contractor didn't file the permits to close it. So this will delay the closing. It could delay the closing. It will reduce the amount of money the homeowner will receive, because either they could hold money in escrow, which is usually a large amount. Then they have to schedule time with the new homeowner to get the proper permits and the proper contractors in to bring either the deck or whatever has that open permit up to code. Sometimes I've seen where homeowners needed an additional bathroom. They put a bathroom in their basement and they have no permits, and they thought that it's legal, and they put it on the listing stating that they have 2 bathrooms as opposed to 1. And they could either do like what happened in Robin's situation, take the
Right, but does that
take the
come up with
bathroom out.
title? Does that come up with the title search, or that's something that you have to do on your own?
It would come up on the title search, but the way that happens is the title search is going to come up close to when you go to close. That happens after you sign the contracts. You've already had the appraiser in. You're well on your way to getting a mortgage. So you find this out a few weeks, or depending on the months of when your title was ordered by your attorney, by the buyer's attorney, if that helps.
So how could you, that's a horrible situation to be in, clearly. So can you circumvent that and be proactive? Is there any way to be proactive?
You would have to contact either a title company or go down to the town and find out what open permits there are on your own, or hire a title company to do that.
Sounds like almost Lisa knows a place online where you can quickly find it, or
No, I wish I did. I'm really curious because I never heard that before. And in my profession, and I'm sitting down with families that one of their goals is they want to buy a house. If I can say certain things, that's great. So I want to know more. And it just seems kind of bad.
Yes, yeah. So if they know who their attorney is going to be, their attorneys usually are the ones to order the title company, and they have a relationship with the title company. So they would want to sit down with an attorney and ask if they can run a quick title search. But of course, they'll have to pay for that, but it's money well paid and time saved. Like you said, Lisa, if you know this ahead of time. Any other questions or comments? Like-
Actually, Shannon and I, we've actually had this experience when we repurchased our house about 7 years ago. We discovered last minute that there was an open permit for an in-ground pool, but they never closed. They never installed the in-ground pool. So we lost some time. We had to prove to them, take pictures, even though there was already pictures in the listing, take pictures. There was no pool. They never closed it. And thank goodness they let it go through with the open permit. And then we ended up closing it after closing.
Did they
But it
hold
was a
money in
whole-
escrow for you to do that? Did the seller give you money for that?
No. But they were able to push it through because they realized it was just kind of like an oversight. And the other thing, yes, you're right. You call the town, call the building department, and you're right. They will tell you on the spot, or sometimes you would just go in person, and they're pretty friendly. They're pretty nice. Just tell them, I'm interested in this home. Does it have any open permits? Two scenarios could happen. They'll tell you first. They'll tell you straight off the bat there's no open permits, or two, they'll say you have to file a FOIA request, a Freedom of Information Act request, and then you just fill out a paperwork. Sometimes you could do it online, and then you'll find out soon enough. They'll tell you if there's anything open. Sometimes there are also online databases you could find out. I know that in town of Brookhaven, you could see if there's if the house that if your neighbors are renting out their house illegally, you can literally tap up their address and find out if there's any open permits violations, but it depends town by town. And some towns are really savvy with technology. Some towns,
I'm like,
they're kind
wow.
of, yeah. So that's a little tip, a little hot tip.
That's good to know. Thank
Definitely.
you.
You're welcome.
All right, you got to tell me if anybody else has any. I don't want to give you the brush off. We're good to go?
Yep. Okay.
All right, so the next one, I think is the best one. Hire and consult with your local realtor. There she is. And all jokes aside, the reason why you would want to do this, preferably with somebody who's knowledgeable and been in the business for a while and is full-time, got the time to dedicate to you, to advise you on other items that's not on this checklist. Of course, this is just 10 items just to get you started, but there are other things to discuss with either your lifestyle, what you're going to be doing once you sell the house. Let's go through the house and see what's going on and what needs to be done to get you the maximum amount of money for the quickest amount of time and painlessly. All right.
Excellent.
9, clean out your garage. And this also goes for your basement. The reason for this, just like the clutter, the garages are a place where we store most of our items that we don't use. And we tend to neglect this area because it's not, most garages aren't attached to the house, and you tend to forget it. And you're like, oh, we can do this later. But you should start early with decluttering the garage and getting rid of the items that are in there. This will show the space of the garage and the potential for the new homeowner of what they can do in that space. Any comments? I'm pausing now for comments or questions.
Yes, let me see. I have a polling question. You want to do a
Oh.
polling question?
Yeah.
Still polling question. Let's see if this works. Can you guys see it?
Yes. Oh, I can answer too?
Yeah. Pretty cool, isn't it?
Yeah.
I figured it was a cleaning thing, so dusting and cleaning. So I figured it.
I want to know if my husband put you up to that.
He sent me a little note.
Yeah, I had a feeling, and it was 100%, so it's all good.
All right.
Yes, and you're absolutely right.
So here's the end of the poll. So here we go. So the most important part is 80%. So yes, that's the. I'm going to share the results right now so people can see it, and that's the results. Pretty cool, isn't it?
Yes, I like that. All right. So that's exactly it. You know, like I mentioned earlier, dusting, cleaning your windows. So it's not just for the spring. It's for when you are thinking of selling your house and you're looking to maximize the sale and maximize how much your profits will be. Okay, I think I can do that. And lastly, fixing any leaks or running faucets. course, that you're going into the house, and it might just be a minor leak. But like I keep want to drill in you, you do not want to give any opportunity for the buyer to come back and reduce their offer to you. You want their offer to be asking or close to asking, and their terms to be beneficial to your move and the reason for your move. So if you've got a leaking faucets, you might neglect it, and by neglecting it, it becomes like part of the house. I've gone into houses where people are like, oh, I don't even notice that leak anymore. Oh, right. I meant to do that. And years later, there's that stain in the sink. So you're costing yourself more money. If there's an issue with the faucet, if it's leaking, do your best to fix it yourself. There are plenty of YouTube videos out there to DIY, or hire somebody. But these little things end up being bigger things if you leave them alone. That's costing you less money in your pocket. Any comments, questions?
We're good. So far.
All
so
right.
good.
I was gonna say that
Bruce,
I think one thing that could definitely make the list, if possible, is a fresh coat of paint,
Oh, yes.
right?
Yep.
Especially the ceiling, and not neglecting the ceilings, because just like we were talking about the light through the screens, the light on the roof, it makes it seem a lot taller, a lot more space. A nice fresh painted ceiling goes a long way.
Yes, you're absolutely right. But I do go through all of that when we do sit down. This is just preliminary, see where they are with things, and
Yeah,
we
Nicole,
go on from there. Yes, Lisa.
do you realtors still have them like bake something delicious to bring aromatics in? Is that still something that you guys do?
I use candles.
Okay, okay.
I stopped baking in the oven. I just use candles, and it gives off that scent.
And Marlon has a question. Marlon.
Yeah, so when it's a good point that you brought up the do it yourself, because I went on YouTube to look at something like that, and all I had to do was go buy the materials at the hardware store and just get down to business.
Right.
So I didn't have to pay a specialist to come and do it. So there you go. It does save you some money. You learn something, as you are going about your house. So yes, that was fun.
And you can help your friends with it too. You'll be an expert in no time. And here it is. Here's my contact information. I've got a Facebook page, Nicole Burke Real Estate Agent. My website is NicoleBurkeHomes.com. My radio show, like I mentioned, is The Voice of Uniondale. Comes on every Wednesday from 5 to 5:30.
Nice.
Excellent.
Yep.
Do we have any other more questions for Nicole? And go ahead.
I have
Sure.
a quick question. You mentioned about using a local broker.
Yeah.
All right. And this seems to be some of the things that, I hear all the time. Well, it doesn't matter. I can take care of any neighborhood from here to New Jersey. And so, what is really truly the benefit of using somebody who specializes in your local area?
So the benefits is, and when I say local, at times for me, it's even a broader meaning. Doesn't necessarily mean like I live in Uniondale, you want somebody who specializes in Uniondale. Sometimes that's not even a good thing. You want somebody who specializes in New York State or like in your surrounding area. So the benefits I feel for that is somebody who lives and works in your town may not be good at marketing the house to make it a wide net, because we don't know where the buyer is coming from, but we know that there's somebody out there for your house, right? You want to discuss what their marketing plan is. It could be somebody from the Bronx who could sell your house. You want to know what they're able to do. Are they going to be making calls? Who are they calling? Are they just going to take your house and put it up on the multiple listing? Are they going to take their own photos? I'm sure that has everybody gone on to Zillow and see some of those pictures of realtors. And not for nothing, we make our commission check, once we take off our expenses and everything, is a decent amount of money. To spend a couple of $100s or more on a photographer to get the pictures, the
Tour.
virtual tour, you know, I'm sure Paul can talk to that. But it's, to me, it's mind-boggling how a majority of agents don't do that. So to what you're saying, Robin, when I say local, you want to still interview the agent and see what qualities they have, he or she has, with marketing your home. What's their feedback like? What is their way of communicating with you? Are they just going to take your house, put it on market, and don't give you any feedback for people coming in the house? Are they not going to guide you on how to show your house in the best light when it comes to showing the house? What type of communication do they have? Are they full-time? Are they part-time? So I hope that answers and clarifies things for you
No, absolutely. Thank
on
you.
the type of agent I would suggest you look for, even if, and not for nothing, you interview 3. You know, if you want one in the town you live in, but you want to see what their production is like, as I mentioned, their marketing, their way of communicating with you. What did they do differently from another person?
And we have the other poll questions here, just so that, you know, we had a hiccup before, so we thank you for your patience, but we like to do it anyway, just out of curiosity for people, just, you know, wanted to see out there, the folks out there, so it just, you know, I think I can't vote, so.
Yeah, just remember, and most of us are co-hosts, so we
Yeah,
can't.
that's
Oh,
right. So
yeah.
there you go. So you can start to get an idea. And then the final one is the reasons. Here we go. I'm just gonna and then obviously it doesn't work, but next time we'll do it next time. We'll get it more down pat because you know we still have a little hiccups with Zoom with the updates. So, but thank you for being patient. But,
Oh, please.
yeah,
You're welcome. And
wonderful
we got through it.
presentation,
It was, I think we had a good conversation, and
yeah,
we were able
and-
to answer the questions.
And Michael says, great tips, fantastic presentation. Thanks to Cole. So Michael, I know we have an audio tip, so
Welcome.
but he says anything. So any other questions before we wrap anything up? Any other any things? Robin, do you want to come? Yeah, go
One
ahead.
quick question. So from the perspective of a homeowner, because when
Yes.
there's a saying, when you have a home, projects are never over. You're always fixing something So what's a good budget to have in mind? $1,000, $2,000, $500, just to cap it. So you could say, okay, this is it. Lock, set, paint, and that's it. What do you suggest?
That's a tough question.
Mm.
Meaning that
You see? You see, it's
it
tricky,
depends
right?
on what I'm looking at my house. It
circumstances.
depends on what how much money you make. It depends on what your house looks like. Is there damage? What you're comfortable with? I would say the best answer to that question is, if you're thinking of selling, contact a real estate agent and have him or her come in and give you that idea based on what's going on in your house.
That's fantastic, Nicole. Thank you. That's
Oh, you're
great
welcome.
answer.
Yes,
And,
Lisa.
Yeah, Lisa. You're muted.
Oh, you're mute.
Let me lower my hand. Okay, so here's a couple of things. First of all, really great presentation. And I think
Yes.
what you did was that you nailed why you have to work with a professional realtor, because you're not gonna, you have years of experiences, what people are looking for, what's happened, you've been through those bad scenarios. And so it's like, you know, getting mentored, you're actually mentoring your clients. Okay, whether they listen or not is another story. But this is a reason why this is not a do-it-yourself industry, and why you really have to do it. And as far as Paul's question, I agree with you. First of all, it's got to be a proportionate, right? If you want a certain amount of money, but your home is falling apart, you need to invest a little bit back. And if that's 10,000 or 20,000 so that you can get the price that you need, then that's what you have to do. And if it's hiring your landscaper because you don't know gardening and you kill things like I would, you do what you have to. And you may get a little chunk out of your profit, but at least you're not sitting on a house that you can't sell, or they're actually lowballing you way too much because it looks unpresentable. Would that be good?
Kind of. So keep in mind that there's different scenarios. You're absolutely right. But I want you to also keep in mind, what if somebody purchased their house 4 years ago? Or 3 years ago when the market was real high, and there isn't enough money, even if they put in $10,000 to fix it, there's not enough money because the mortgage principal and interest and everything like that doesn't give them enough to get what they want. So, sometimes with my job, it's telling people the hard truth and the reality, and it's up to you. Listen.
Well, I owned a co-op in Long Beach, and we just couldn't sell it for the life. We had bought another home and we couldn't sell it. And honestly, it was just draining our bank account, and we sold it at a loss. It was the hard, cold truth. We just couldn't do anything. It was actually redone anyway because it was a fire there. But sometimes you're right. You have to cut your losses and just, at least you're not paying into it and losing more money. You just have to take what you have to take if you've given it your best shot.
Yes, exactly. Yep. What did you have other? I thought you had like 2 or 3.
No, I thought I did. I was telling you it was good that you made the case for using a real estate agent, and then there was the other thing about.
And it's really interesting
Thank you.
because, as a buyer and a seller, it's very interesting, the both sides of it. We were working with at the time, 30 some odd years ago, with the person who said, oh my God, you have to work with this person because she knows your town. She lives here. She knows the houses. As it turned out, she showed us nothing. We didn't. I went back to Newsday, which at the time was how you looked for a listing.
Oh, yes.
Because if there was no computers.
Yeah.
And I saw a listing for a house that I didn't sound familiar. It was an exclusive because the broker that was the best broker in my town was not allowed in the house because the boys had a fight, and it was on my block. It was 3 doors down from the house I'm living in now. And she wasn't allowed, it was an exclusive. So that's the other thing, just when, now everything's on, it's all over the place. But
Yes.
I would never have gotten my house if I stayed with that. But so you never know what's going on in the back, and we learn and we share, and it's definitely interesting, but phenomenal. And now I better start cleaning my house for like 10 years from now, because I'm going to start now. I think that we need to find somebody that has a service that comes in and does these things for you.
Yeah.
I got somebody. I got a couple of ladies.
Oh, bringing them to WOW. Hey, bring them to
Yeah,
WOW.
Yeah, there's a lot of work that has to be done all the time.
Yes. Yeah. It's not like you forget. We have our everyday lives that we've got to deal with. So, cleaning and stuff. Yes, Shannon.
One more thing about going back to the pictures. I've seen some of those embarrassing pictures on listings, like sideways, upside down. It just makes you think like, okay, if this woman or this guy can't even put a picture and display the house, I wonder what kind of service they give. It leaves a terrible impression. And the other thing is that a lot of people want to know what the inside of the house looks like. I'm more concerned about the outside, that I just love a big yard and the pool. So I always feel like they take 100 pictures of the inside, but then the outside is like, 2 snapshots. For me, that doesn't do it justice. So you have to, really take a lot of pictures. And I think pictures are the most important. And then the walkthrough tour is the second thing, especially if it's cold. A lot of folks aren't going to want to traipse out in the cold. We got lucky this year, but like most winters are freezing and snow. So it's like you said, it's so important to spend a few $100s on just marketing the house correctly, and it will make you look like a rock star. You'll probably get more listings out of it because you did the right thing. People will be impressed by your work. So just, don't be cheap when you're listing a house. You have to really put the work.
Shannon, you're taking the words right out of my mouth.
not the homeowner. So that's the job of the homeowner to investigate and ask those questions. So that's good that you bring that up, Shannon, is to ask those questions to the agent. What's your marketing plan? How much money do you put into this? Because we don't get paid. We put the money out front and we get paid at the end. So you want to ask those questions if you're a homeowner looking to sell when you do interview the agent. And if they tell you something, you're going to see it in writing. And if they don't do it, those are grounds to canceling your contract.
Mike, do you take a look at any of those pictures before you go into some of those homes?
Mike is.
Oh, Mike doesn't have. He's going to take.
Mike doesn't have Mike, but he's
up and
typing.
down or side to side.
You make it Mike work.
No, only because, you know,
It
that.
says, yes, I do. It says,
You
yes,
do,
sure, I do,
okay.
yes.
So you do take a look at those pictures. That's interesting. Because
Mhm.
that, you know, I would think he's the last person they write that goes into the house or one of the last people. I would think that he would look at
Yes.
those pictures.
Yeah.
And say, wait a minute, that was there in the pictures. I'm missing something.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I love the pictures when you see the agent in the mirror.
Oh. Or the virtual ones where they're taking them and you see the camera on the tripod with the person
Mm.
behind it in the mirror.
Yes.
That's terrible.
Yeah. So I appreciate you all for
Yeah.
participating. This was
Thank
good.
you. It was
Thank
I
you.
think, Nicole, I have to say it's up there. Your presentation is up there for one of these good, awesome presentation. It's up there. So I like the simplicity of it. It's very simple, easy to follow, and and there's a story behind every picture, which a lot of people. This pictures tell us 1,000 words, and you did a justice, and you did a great job. So thank you so much. Great work. And thank you. I can't wait to watch the recording again. You can watch it on YouTube. So thank you again for everybody. And folks, also for the people I invite people to come on Winning on Wednesday. We meet every Wednesday. So if you want to join us at 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time every Wednesday, we're there on Zoom. You can join us. Just go to our websites, join us as a first-time guest, sign up as a first-time guest when Winning on Wednesday. So Google us, winningonwednesday.com, and sign up as a first-time guest. And we'll see you next time, guys. So have a good night. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Take care.
Good night.
All right, let me stop the recording. Okay. All right.